I think that everybody always sees everything as an or conversation. I always see it as an and conversation, right? So at the end of the day, and here's one of the reasons, or the true challenge that I have with university and the system, especially from a marketing context. Now, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer and stuff like that, if you want to be a pilot, study, get the degree. The pilot announced that they got 80% on the flight test, and the 20% is the landing bit. I'm not comfortable, right? But when
it's
it
like
comes,
a surgeon turns up in flip flops, like, right?
By the way, I don't know how to sew you back up. But when it comes to the creative and marketing space, the companies that are different, going back to the whole thing different analogy, ironically, that make people think the same. But I digress. Because it's all about who can. Going back to marketing 101, whoever who can service or exceed the expectation of your customers better than your competitors. It's all about thinking differently and being different. And those institutions teach you how to think the same, right? So the issue with the technology is people that are very open-minded and very inviting of the technology will say, actually, how can we use this to accelerate what we're doing? How can we do what we're doing even better, as opposed to, well, this does the same thing. Just teach people new skills, work around it, do more with the technology. I just feel like it's a powerful thing. It makes me super more productive. I'm convinced that I have dyslexia because it takes me forever to like write up stuff, right? But for the most part, that gives me a great starting point. I still have to add the Alfred personality to it. And the issue with marketeers is because we all copy each other, when everybody does it, you're going to find for the new thing to make you different, right? So in the past, just being on social media was a differentiating factor. Now that everybody's on there, you have to do something else.
Yeah.
So you always have to think, okay, cool. If everybody's going to be able to do this, then great copywriting and having a strong copy team is no longer a differentiating factor. What else is? Now can I use that to leverage that?
And make your copywriters better.
Exactly.
Because they're not spending all this time doing the research and like making sure it's fat.
Yeah.
It's really interesting technology. It's funny because I think even only a year ago, it was quite basic. Like you would not be amazed by what it does. And I think what they did was they introduced humans to it.
Yeah.
And so the tech would produce like, say, 5 answers to your question. And then a human would go, that's the best answer. And that's how it learned to produce like better copy.
It's only going to be, as soon as the thing is, so I'm by no means an expert. I'm very, very simple in the way that I see things. But I like watching, I think I put a LinkedIn post about how Cartoon Network made me a better marketeer, right?
Yeah.
So I love like I like the Avengers. I like anything that helps me like storytelling and better.
Yeah.
And obviously Iron Man has Jarvis, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the stepstone to that, right? And as basic as it is right now, you know the trajectory that it's going to go into. And the first thing I said is buckle up, right? Everybody needs to think about how do we actually leverage this thing, because it happens all the time. Social media happened and everyone's like, oh, it's a threat.
The internet. Everyone was like, oh, a podcast. I think it was Howard Stern was like, oh, one of the biggest broadcasters in America was like, oh, podcast. Why would anyone listen to a podcast? Now there's like 1 billion podcasts in the world, right?
Yeah. But also, I think that everybody defaults to, oh, people are going to lose their jobs. But if we get to a position, I'm just saying, if we get to a position where people don't have to work to keep society running and you can start doing what you're passionate about because the robots are doing the other bits, it's a good place to be.
Well, it's a good place for businesses to be as well, because it means you're only paying top intelligent, high level, highly skilled people.
Yeah, and then you start to focus on what are you top at, right? And then I just feel, I don't think it's going to eradicate everything completely, but I just feel like it's just a great time for humans. Like I just feel like it gives anybody an upper hand. Like you can be in Congo, right? And have ChatGPT and have an opportunity. I'm a glass half full person.
No, so I am too. I got called toxically positive all the time. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense to me.
I have to be around people that are completely opposite to kind of like rein me in. But for the most part, I just see the opportunity with it.
Yeah. Well, it's the world we live in right now. It's
Yeah.
interesting that you brought that up, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, because that's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
But I think like the introduction of even like crypto and like DeFi stuff has really flattened the world, so that people in the Congo have opportunities to stuff that people in London might have, or even, you know, in South America, like you can now work from anywhere, and as long as you're intelligent and you're skilled, you can have internet connection. Obviously, you can access pretty much anything. Like I learned how to build my first business on YouTube. I didn't learn that by doing or by being a part of a business or even in a degree. I learned that on YouTube. So if you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can pretty much learn anything.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying just there, is the business degree taught you what to do when the business is already set up and you have a team already. Now, for me to go to company's house and all that stuff, well, that's missing. Like the actual start of it is what's always missing, right? So
it's like school. How do you start a career? They don't teach you how to do a CV.
How do you save money? How do you invest money?
Why it's good to have a credit card? What a mortgage even means?
Yeah.